What's good, everyone? One thing you may not have known, possibly because it's inconsequential to your life, and after about 30 seconds you'll forget entirely, but I'm terrified of heights. As such, I sometimes force myself to watch really insane YouTube videos of stupid people going to really extreme heights, like sometimes even when it's raining and stuff, and I get so anxious it's not even funny. What does he want to do that for? Well, I have no idea, but it's probably related to the games in this video, oddly enough. Combined with my love for the golden age of platform action from the 80s and 90s, the intensity boils into the perfect brew of 2D side-scrolling action games. You see, today we're looking at the 6 most intense retro-style platformers for the Nintendo Switch. That means, you guys, that these games are going to require fast-paced reflexes to the tune of microseconds and an action button thumb with a ton of stamina, both of which are going to assist you in methodical and incremental improvements to your character throughout the game. Most importantly, you're going to need an endless well of patience and stick-to-itiveness because you're going to die in these games. A ton. And then after that, you're going to die some more. In this process, you're going to make even more incremental strides forwards in these games. Repeat this process over and over, and that's how victory becomes tangible to the victor. But when you play, it's going to feel like I do when I watch some slappy daredevil telling somebody to film him as he skips along some mile-long chasm on one foot. Without further ado, let's take a look. These are the 6 most intense retro-style platformers for the Nintendo Switch. Number 6. Mighty Gunvolt Burst. Coming at ya from the Japan-based Inti Creates, one of my favorite indie studios of all time. If you like pixel art, robots, and Mega Man, then you're probably gonna really dig Mighty Gunvolt Burst. The burst in the title refers to the fact that you earn a burst if you finish an enemy while you're standing close to it. You get more points for doing so as well, so there's added incentive for doing this dangerous task. In fact, it's kind of the point of the game insofar as destroying enemies. There's reasonably priced DLC for some of the extra characters, so I got all of them. But as far as the characters are concerned, we've got Gunvolt from the Azure Striker Gunvolt series. Got a dude named Beck, he's kind of a robot. We've got Call, who looks a lot like Roll from Mega Man. We've got Copen and Jewel from the Luminous Avenger X series. And then the character I find myself playing as the ridiculous Ikaro from the Inti Creates Gun Gal series. I mean, look how stupid. She just shoots love arrows for her weapon, and maybe because robots are unable to understand human emotions like love, they just bust apart from the inside. But we don't have to always play as the dumber characters. We've got here a solid Mega Man type game that's cute and stylish, and of course it has robots, which is a win in our book. Number 5. Master Blaster Zero.
Master Blaster Zero. Master Blaster Zero. Master Blaster Zero.
You lose.
Did you ever play Master Blaster released by Sunsoft for the original-ass Nintendo Entertainment System? No? I was really counting on you saying yes, so that we have a point of reference to start from, but now might as well just not even talk about it anymore. Master Blaster Zero was a huge hit when it came out on the NES and has since amassed a cult following. And as it turns out, some of the individuals in this cult following community happen to work over at Inti Creates. Why does that name sound familiar? But anyways, they remade it all from the ground up. All with breathtaking detail and an enriched plotline and a sleek design for the modern era. The comic book style cutscenes are faithful to the original game, but updated to look as sleek and awesome as its faithful gameplay. After his pet frog goes down some mysterious hole, our main man Jason follows him down to discover that the modern age has forgotten its history involving these mysterious subterranean tunnels. Jason finds the Sophia 3, a vehicle capable of jumping and, of course, blasting. So we're going to need to do just that. both from the side-scrolling 2D angle to take out mutants and monsters, but also we're going to go exploring to find the bosses of each area. While you're doing this, the view switches to an isometric top-down angle, providing a rich and varied experience. We also have the DLC characters, and we again have Ikaro, who clearly hasn't been convinced yet to use conventional weaponry, instead insisting on using her hearts to blast away our enemies. It's so dumb that it actually worked to make Ikaro my favorite character, and I don't even ever want to play Galgun. You're going to do this a bunch in order to beat the game that is playing from the 2D side-scrolling blasting angle while taking out the bosses in the isometric top-down angle, and doing this is going to separate those of us who can be persistent enough to complete Master Blaster 0 and those of us who aren't. Or maybe just those of us who want to play a different video game. If you're a hardcore retro gamer like myself, Inti Creates games will really strike a note with you. The company sees a sacred value in the games of older generations such as Mega Man, Strider, and of course, Master Blaster. Number 4. Azure Striker Gunvolt 3. Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 is to the previous titles in the Azure Striker Gunvolt series as Mega Man 0 was to Mega Man X. That is, instead of the trusty long-range weapons we're used to in the previous two Azure Striker Gunvolt games, this one focuses on close-range melee combat a la Mega Man 0, which was, as a matter of fact, made by the same company we're now all familiar with, Inti Creates. In Azure Striker Gunvolt 3, we take control of Kirin, a really anime-ified girl who uses laser cards, not unlike Gambit from X-Men, to mark her next target. And once we have a few marked with these cards, we can use a homing attack to take all of them out. It's a really vertical game in that you're jumping around a lot and doing some strategic falling to destroy your enemies, as opposed to the focus on firearm combat from Azure Striker 1 and 2. Like the previous two games, there's the anime dialogue boxes, and these are often going off during gameplay. This can be a bit much at times, but due to the crazy nature of the game, I really got used to it and actually enjoyed reading what the characters are saying while I'm simultaneously sweating profusely due to bashing my attack and jump buttons quicker than any sort of relaxation could necessitate. Gunvolt, the main character from the first two Azure Striker Gunvolt games, is a dog for some reason in this game. This better not be some weird furry reference I'm not getting, but you can actually switch to the humanoid Gunvolt during gameplay, and he's really powerful, like some sort of reverse furry Dragon Ball Z character. So I guess that kind of makes up for the vague furry stuff this game sometimes gives me. Despite all that, Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 is a really fast-paced, deeply addicting, and intense action platformer that's completely voice-acted with awesome collectibles, challenges which encourage replayability, and gameplay which is sure to be a huge hit for those of us with an affinity for high-octane retro platformer games. Number 3. Slain Back from Hell, metal-themed, like overtly. It's also royally violent and very awesome. Developed by Wolf Brew Games and published by Digerati Distribution in 2016, it's got a brutal pixel art aesthetic that will capture your attention and imagination alike, commanding you to gaze into its hellish platforming real. We will control this aged metal guy who has a sword, a long white beard. I bet he listens to all the coolest metal bands because he's been around for a while, like At the Gates. And what are we going to do with our sword, you think? We're going to hang it on the wall next to our framed heavy metal records? Going to use it to cut, stab, maim, and brutalize undead creatures and demons most foul and powerful. You're going to need to strategize between your powered up stab, which takes a second to charge up, blocking, or straight up using your quick attack to quickly deplete your enemy's HP. Only for the most dedicated players, or I guess for anyone who thinks it's cool. Sorry, I was just trying to, talk it up. But it really does just kick ass, so do pick it up on the Nintendo Switch store. Number 2. Blasphemous. The pixel art is so strong within this game. Look how awesome Blasphemous looks and feels. If you think it looks intimidating, that's probably because it is, and it's going to test your patience as you watch yourself dying over and over again within the game. Blasphemous is not for the faint of heart. We will control the penitent one who has awakened in this purgatorial hellish land of Custodia, where we will gain strength and new moves by strategically learning the moves of our enemies. This will require a lot of dying and then some more dying, where the timing of our blocks and slashes with our trusty blade will be of utmost importance to our progression of the game. When I first played this, I was reminded a lot of the old Prince of Persia games, not like the GameCube ones. I'm talking the DOS ones, and it seems the team over at the Spanish-based studio, The Game Kitchen, doubtlessly also played those games, but to their credit, they improved on the often boring gameplay by introducing a combat-fueled platformer for fans of everything gruesome, difficult, and epic. Give it a go. Just know it's going to be a difficult and wild ride if you want to get anywhere in the game. Number 1. Val Ferris. Snip. These retro games sure are getting hella intense. This one was developed by Steel Mantis and published by Big Sugar. Wait, this is actually really crazy cool. This soundtrack? Metal! Turns out one of Celtic Frost's ex-guitarists did the OST to this game, Kurt Victor Bryant. Oh yeah. My god, it's really violent too, but it's so damn difficult. Val Ferris plops you off on a hostile planet where every single sentient creature wants our main man, Therion, dead. So what we gots to do is kill him back. Just some of them, you ask? No. We're gonna kill all of them. And we gotta be real quick on our feet to even start this massive task. Val Ferris doesn't care if you need a breather. After an intense boss battle, it'll give you a few more enemies when you desperately need a save point, which is just out of a merciful distance for us most times in the game. We've got a sword for the close enemies, a firearm or 9, which can be upgraded throughout your journey, but you better be sharp on your reflexes and timing or you're gonna get turned into mush. Good god, this game really kicks ass. I hate the term Metroidvania, but it accurately describes Val Ferris. It's Metroidvania, get it, dude? The name is half Metroid and half Castlevania. I'm just kidding, you guys. However, I do like to imagine the enemies in this one saying that word so that I'm quicker and more brutal in dispelling of them.
We're in a Metroidvania, dude. Get it? Because it's like half Metroid and half...
All of the games on this list are intense AF, but you better keep your veins in the freezer while you're playing Val Ferris, because it's really going to test you on every level. It's kind of like Doom Eternal if it was a side-scrolling action game. And it's the king of the most intense retro platformers on the Nintendo Switch. I mean it. At least in this video, you know. And you know what, you guys, I do really much appreciate ya. Thanks for watching. What are some of your favorite intense retro style platform games? Did I miss any on this list? Let me know down there in the comments. And if you would, hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to the Dizzy One, and I promise if you do, I'll bring you more awesome content on the regular. I'm Dizzy One, and you guys are the best. I'm out.